Diane.
For Sunrise School Division for September the 1st. And I call our meeting to order. We're going to have O Canada by Gillis School. Please stand if you can do so. Thank you, Gillis School. Appreciate it. We do have a treaty acknowledgement, and I'm going to do that tonight. We acknowledge the traditional land upon which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnership with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Before we adopt the agenda, my name is Paul Manning. I'm the board chair, and to my left is Superintendent Reid, followed by Secretary Treasurer Thiessen, Assistant Superintendent Fieldberg. We have Trustee Boytson, Trustee Rowan, Trustee Dent, Trustee Smith, Trustee Wilson. We have board support, Mrs. Scott. We have Trustee Harris, and online we have Trustee Rowland with us. So all 8 trustees are here tonight. And again, if you're listening online, we will there will be a point where you'll be able to ask some questions. I'll come to it later in the meeting. So we have our adoption of our agenda. Be it resolved, the board approve our agenda. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by trustee Wilson and seconded by trustee Smith. Any questions of the agenda? Hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 8-0. Thank you. And in chair's comments, remember, so if you have questions, please send your questions at jody.thiessen@sunrisesd.ca. Put your name and your address on the sender, included in the email, and we will get to your questions during questioning period. That happens later on in the evening. We have a share a story section here, so I'm going to open up to the floor. Does anybody want to share a story? Trustee Rowan.
Some of our schools are kicking off the year with a welcome to school barbecue. I'll be helping out at the Oakbank Elementary School barbecue and volunteering with OPUE on Tuesday, September 8th from 3 to 5. I look forward to seeing the families of OBE after what I hope was a restful summer.
Thanks, Trustee Rowan. Anyone else? Trustee Harris?
I had the opportunity to stop by 3 schools in the last couple of days, and all 3 are looking spotless, and the staff and secretaries are eagerly awaiting the return of the students. I happened to drop by the board office this morning, and there was already an in-service session for literacy people in this room. Even before school starts, they're learning new stuff for our staff, which is great to see. And as I've been driving around the rural area recently, I've seen a number of school buses heading out, either test driving, I guess, their routes or being taken to their home base, the driver's home, ready for the start of school next week. So I think school is coming up pretty darn soon based on all those things. If I put 2 and 2 together, I'm getting 4. So thank you.
Anyone else? I think there's a number of things that are going on, and whether Mr. Reed or Mr. Fielberg are going to share some of the things that are going on this week. But we have teachers and a variety of different learning that's going on here. Obviously, back in our schools, if you see them, our school secretaries have been in their buildings for a little while with many teachers and many school administrators, getting back at it, whether we're getting the cobwebs out or whatever. And why I say that, I was one of those persons that had to get the cobwebs out, and so it affected me lots. But anyways, it's really good to see, I concur with Trustee Harris about that school's right around the corner. So it's good to go ahead and see. I am going to come on Thursday, where I think Mr. Reed and Mr. Fielberg and his team have all of our new teachers. I'm not going to scare them or anything away, but they have the new teachers, I think, for a good part of the day. And so I'm going to welcome them on behalf of the board as they're here on Thursday. Anything else from anyone? Okay, we'll move on. Minutes from our regular board meeting on August the 25th. So be it resolved, the board adopt our August 25th board meeting minutes. Need a mover and a second. Moved by Trustee Boyson, second by Trustee Dent. Any questions to those minutes? Hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 8-0. Before we get into your report, the board had the opportunity to meet tonight our new transportation manager. Thanks for setting that up, Jody. Dwayne got a chance to come in and talk to us a little bit, and where the water level is pretty high with him. And thanks, Dwayne, for coming, and we seem to be in pretty good hands. So thank you for that. Turn it over to you, Mr. Reed.
So, Superintendent's report, a few things have happened in the 7 days since we've last been together. And so, first, just a reminder about the start of school. As Trustee Harris pointed out, it's getting close. First day of classes for our grade 1 to 12 students will be Wednesday, September the 9th. And phased in kindergarten specific to each school. If parents have any questions, feel free to reach out to their children's school. All of our offices are now open. Administrators and secretaries are working. If you've got transportation questions, you can reach out to our transportation department. And we look forward to having everyone back. As already mentioned, even though the school year has not begun, we've already had a start of a busy week here at Sunrise Education Center. Over the last 2 days, we've had some middle years and high school teachers in taking the Reading Apprenticeship Training, which is a 5-day course that will span out over the course of the school year. We have our school administrative assistant in the building tomorrow to go over some year startup logistics and do some learning. And then as Trustee Mania mentioned, on Thursday we have our new teachers to the school division this year coming by for a full day of learning and welcome. Also beginning this school year, it's the first year of the new provincial legislation that requires all volunteers to take a sexual abuse training program. So in Sunrise, we've chosen to have our volunteers complete the Commit to Kids program. It's a 23-minute video followed by a little quiz to ensure that people paid attention while it was going on. And so to support that implementation and make it as easy as possible for those who are willing to give up their time and volunteer in schools, we've put together a little instruction sheet that I've also attached to my report in case trustees want to see what all of our volunteers will be doing. And then finally, just an update on a couple of learning opportunities that I, along with our Assistant Superintendent and Director of HR, were able to complete. We had the opportunity to meet Noni Clausen, the new Commissioner of Teacher Professional Conduct, and she came out to Sunrise and we sat down for about an hour and a half and talked about her role and got to do some very specific learning about the role of the Commissioner and expectations for our teaching staff. And the same senior team also had the opportunity to attend the Manitoba School Boards Association's investigations training. Just a full day of training on conducting sound investigations to ensure that any investigations that we do into the conduct of our staff across the school division are thorough and fair and respectful, and lead to positive outcomes. And so, yeah, a couple of good learning opportunities for us as a team to go through.
Thanks, Mr. Reid. Any questions for Mr. Reid? You did bring something up that's probably something the board should consider, and whether it's a decision tonight or whatever. But you're talking about all of our volunteers completing the sexual abuse prevention training. It might be worthwhile for us, the board, to look at going ahead and doing that. That's something that we can put a bug in your ear, and we'll talk about it when we get. This is new information, so I'll put a bug in your ear when we get back in at our next meeting at the end of September about going ahead and doing this. Thanks for that. I think. Did you want to talk about Commit to Kids instruction? That was there for information, or we?
Yeah, that's just the instruction sheet of the process that our volunteers will follow. So if the trustees wanted to see what our volunteers would be doing, that's what the second attachment is there.
Questions, comments? Okay. So the other thing you have is the board reporting schedule. It's there for information. Did you want to do anything with that? Go ahead.
Just that is the updated schedule based on the changes that were suggested and we spoke about at the last meeting. In addition to that, you would also notice that the monthly enrollment should be on tonight's agenda, but it's not on tonight's agenda. We learned that we're in the unique situation that we haven't actually started the school year yet, so we could not run the report on the enrollment. And so we'll bring the monthly enrollment to the next meeting after the official start of the school year.
It's everybody's favorite report. It's the Secretary-Treasurer report, just to let you all know what the departments have been up to. Last meeting, we had quite a detail of last meeting I had quite a lengthy detailed one of what the departments are doing. So this one's just updating you on a couple items. Finance, again, working on year-end. Near completion, we will be expecting the auditors to pop in next week, Tuesday. They'll be in our Sunrise Business Center. So year-end is almost complete, which is great, a little ahead of earlier than other years, so that's great news. Purchasing, still sorting out some of the furniture with the vendors, but I think that's all come along. IT, at the time of the report, I didn't have the information. We'll update you guys next board meeting. Maintenance was able to show me, and I can share with you a couple pictures. Enola with their fresh new blacktop, which is great. We had a lot of, over the course of the last couple of years, a lot of kids tripping in hazardous areas. We were able to mitigate that and by putting fresh asphalt on. Recognizing though, when you peel back the layers of asphalt, there's usually something laying under the ground. And Enola, as people from Enola are aware, it's high water table. So as you excavate, you start seeing water come to the surface. So that was a bit of a challenge for our contractors, but they were able to resolve the issue. We were able to discuss with the school administration about what would be the best way of plan of attack, and we're pretty happy with the final outcome. Lac Davani, great news. On Friday we had the inspection. The update is we passed our inspection. We were planning to pass, that was always the goal, but we passed the inspection, and just an update from their manager, the daycare manager, that they are getting comfortable in their new dig. So that's great news. It was a big project done in a short period of time, so kudos to Neil Harrison and the team for getting that done. And then Hazel Ridge, that was a school I didn't report on at all, but over a course of a period of time, we've noticed the exterior of the building, seeing cracks and damage along the fascia and the siding, and between windstorms and students kicking balls on the fascia and siding, that we've now been able to replace that and give it a fresh new look, so it's looking sharp, and now we don't have to worry about water penetration either, so that was addressed. And then some exciting news as reported last week, Gillis and Edward Schreyer School won a grant, and attached is the final plan for Gillis School and their playground. So great job for everybody who was involved with that. It'll be a fresh new look there. And I drove by Edward Schreyer today, and the play structure, the swing set is set up there. So very exciting stuff. Transportation. Like Paul mentioned, we had the new transportation manager, Dwayne Gregorish, talk to the board members before the meeting, and they've been busy. He's been busy learning, and also busy trying to think of ways that we could recruit more drivers. So as you noted in this report, there's some areas that we have a bit of a higher risk of lack of spares or a spare pool. So he's heavy on trying to recruit, build that spare pool up, and fill those positions. So it looks like we're in good shape to have all our runs start at the beginning of the school year. Now it's just a matter of making sure and growing our spare pool. So again, if you know anybody who'd be interested in driving, make a recommendation, because if you're an employee of Sunrise, you can earn some money by referring somebody. Keep that in mind. And then tomorrow, as noted, we're going to have a administrative day where we'll be working with our school administration team and talk about exciting TV things, what was new to learn, what happened over the summer, and just to get together and be on one page. So that's really good. All right. If anybody has questions, let me know.
Any questions for Jody? Trustee Wilson?
Any further information on the daycare situation and the acquisition of the property?
I think we're still discussing with the town of Oxford.
The clock's ticking on us, is it not? Okay. Okay. Trustee Rowan?
Jody, can you give us a little bit more information on exactly how the drive referral program is being extended to community clubs and teams and what people can expect with that process?
Yeah, great question. Unfortunately, we don't have the documentation up and running yet. We're just in the final draft. But what I understand is similar to a staff member, that if a community club refers or somebody is interested in a position and gets hired on, and references the community club as the source that recommended them to apply, the community club can earn the refund, not refund, but the reference money. So that could be your local soccer team, your community club, various clubs around the community. So it could be anywhere.
This is up to 1,000 now, right?
Correct.
10,000 in Powerview, I just want to let you know, but no, I'm just kidding as to where we are. But it's a great program that we're doing, and again, honestly, Trustee Smith and Trustee Rowan, the more people that we can refer to and bring in on board, the better it is for us with spare drivers and with, we're one school division, largest school division, one of the largest fleets, and we need drivers. So good for that. Anything for Jody on finishing up with that report? Yep, Trustee Rowan.
Can I just ask that once you've got the documentation done, can it be forwarded?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I was talking about social media and how trustees and the daycare thing that's in Lac du Bonny is something that we should be great, we got it all done and it's good to go, and because I'm sure that there were some parents that in Lac du Bonny were concerned about where we were and getting it done. So that's great news on Friday that it came out. So again, that's something more food for thought down the road. No more questions. We'll move on to board business. We really only have one part of business because of the short week. We have the bus reserve request, so I'm going to put the motion on the floor. And then, if anybody has questions, we can go to Jody about it. So be it resolved that the board approve the transfer of $300,000 from the 25-26 transportation surplus to the bus reserve. Be it further resolved that the board authorize the use of up to $245,000 from the bus reserve for the purchase of one bus from Dynamic Specialty Vehicles Limited. I need a mover and a seconder to get on the floor. Moved by Trustee Smith and seconded by Trustee Wilson. So questions for Jody? Do you want to comment on this or any questions? Any questions from anyone? Trustee Smith?
I just had a question. What type of bus is it? Is it going to be like a diesel, electric? It's probably just a question.
Likely it's going to be gas. Yeah.
Anyone else? Kind of interesting that all of a sudden now to buy a bus is now $245,000. Because I remember as being a trustee, and maybe I'm getting a little old here, but we weren't paying $245,000 when we first were buying buses even 4 years ago, right? You know what? Crazy. But everything's crazy. But buying buses now, and I think when you turn around and talk to the public, unfortunately, we have to buy a bus and we have to pay $245,000. Where, we were budgeting not too long ago, all in, I would say under 200, we were about $185,000. That's a lot of money. It's a large percentage that's happened in a short period of time. Anyways, we got a motion on the floor. Any questions to the motion? Trustee Rona over there laughing at me, saying that I'm getting old and stuff. So, cool. There you go. Okay, no more questions. We'll call the question, please. And it's 8-0. Thank you. So, community reports. I do not believe that our policy committee or finance committee or education foundation committee, all those committees, none of them have met. So I don't think that we need to spend too much time there. We've had some professional development, or there's one coming up, Victoria Beach on October the 5th. You're coming out to the good part of the division in the north there, so we're going to welcome you to the north. Again, I think that there's been two things that have happened. We've had three trustees, I guess, go. We have Trustee Smith as their capsule conference, a report there. Any questions for Trustee Smith on our capsule conference? Or Trustee Smith, did you want to add anything to that?
No, it's been on there for a little while. If anyone has questions, they can feel free to ask me.
On?
I have a couple of questions. I'm curious to know, when you were at the conference, was there anything where you had an aha moment of we should be looking at how we do this within our division?
Not overly. There was more of a thankful we don't have to deal with that moment. There's a lot of issues that Alberta's having to deal with things that they're having to kind of reverse because their government is having to take things back, like the shared bathrooms. They're taking that away in Alberta. And it's a crisis. In Ontario, they are, it has to do with like the sexual education. People are opting out. They had 30% of families opt out of sexual education, and then they had to find different programming for their children to go into. And then they had to find alternate programming and the extra expense to go into that to find alternate programming for their students. And like this was back in April already, so I'm trying to remember back, and it's more thankful we don't have to deal with that moment. And different things that like I wish we had, like with the legal system, I wanted to come back and see, do we have law in all our schools? And our kids are fortunate here. Like there's different programs. Like if your kid has a double income family, if they have this, they're well off. If they don't have this, then they have a harder time in life. So it's different. And a lot of them, I want to get more mental health in their schools, and they actually had that at the law conference. And I know that's not a thing for us, but they had that at the conference because it was a law conference, mostly. So, and I should have had something else prepared, but I'll see. This is from April. So I can write more, and we can talk about it a little bit later if you want. But yeah, it was more of other provinces are dealing with things that we don't have here. It was more like, thankfully we don't have to deal with that. Because Alberta's having a lot of things clawed back that they don't have. They're big, the bathroom thing. They're taking that away, which I was surprised at. But yeah, so that's all I can think of right now.
Thanks. And I just have one more question. I know Paul was talking about social media, those types of things. You took a session on freedom of expression, and I'm just curious if there's anything that you think we should be considering in relation to either our code of conduct, communications, or social media policies.
Anything that we're not already doing? Not overly, like we've addressed most of it already, so not overly, no.
That's great to hear. Thanks.
Thanks, Trustee Smith. And then we had another learning session where Trustee Rowland and Trustee Wilson went to the CSBA conference, and I know that the two of you are working on that report, and you'll get that report into us for the next meeting, so thank you for that. We don't have any board correspondence. I do want to touch on one thing, is that thanks, Sarah, for putting some of these things in, nice to know information. Liskey plays with Team Canada. It is pretty special that, a hometown boy from Beausejour here gets drafted, high in the NHL, starts playing with Team Canada. It's pretty special. Thanks for putting that Clipper article here for us. And then, of course, Labor Day weekend coming up in the old Pine Falls area. It's the Paper Power Pea and Pickerel Festival. You're more than welcome to come on out. I know that Trustee Dent is joining me in the parade on Sunday. I'm volunteering, doing some things throughout the weekend, and I'm asking 2 questions that I seem to ask all the time. Sunrise School Division, what's working and what do we need to go ahead and work on? And we'll see what kind of response I get on the 4P weekend with those questions. People in the right frame of mind. So we do have, Jody, can you check 13.1, any questions from the public for us, please? Thank you. MSBA correspondence is there for you, Sarah. Thanks for putting that forward. We do have a motion that came from in camera, and I'm going to do that now. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the non-union wage increases for the 26-27 as discussed in camera with senior administration. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Wilson and seconded by Trustee Boytson. Any questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. And thank you, it passed 8-0. Just a question, we don't have anything from in camera that, okay, so we can adjourn our meeting. We do have a couple of things that we need to go ahead and do. Will is back in camera for the group, but we can adjourn our meeting tonight. And next meeting, I think, Sarah, you put it on here, is coming up is September the 15th. I guess I should have known that. 1 plus 14 is 15. I taught math, just wanted to let you know. All right, so the meeting's adjourned. Thanks for coming. Again, a short meeting in this, as we just had one last week, but thanks for putting that together. Our meeting's adjourned.